will come to order. Please remain standing if you are able for the land acknowledgement. With humility and pride, Hamilton College acknowledges its campus sits on the ancestral homelands of the Oneida Indian Nation. The Oneida, or Onyeta'aga, in their indigenous language, means people of the standing stone. Emerging in 1793 from a vision by Reverend Samuel Kirkland and Oneida Chief Shenandoah, both now interred side by side on our campus, to establish a place where American Indians and settler youth could receive a quality education, Hamilton College's very foundation was built upon Indigenous reciprocity and inclusivity. We recognize our past failures to implement this vision. Through sharing our community and educational resources, we are committed to building a sustainable partnership with the Oneida Indian Nation and the Haudenosaunee peoples. We embrace that our past and our future are forever tied to the Oneida people. Please be seated. A special welcome to the class of 2028. It is now my pleasure to introduce Hamilton's Dean of the Faculty, Ngoni Nemo.
Thank you, Lisa, and good afternoon, everyone. Ray Halbritter, the representative of the Oneida Indian Nation and the Chief Executive Officer of its enterprises, leading the Oneida people to an economic and cultural renaissance, has been hailed as a national model of success. Halbritter's experience embodies the Oneida people's larger resurgence over the last 30 years. The grandson of an Oneida leader and the son of a nurse, he lived in an impoverished community on the Oneida Indian Nation's sacred homeland, and saw his family members die in an inferno neglected by local officials. He toiled as an iron worker to make ends meet, eventually getting into Syracuse University and then Harvard Law School. Having deep roots in his nation, Halbritter returned to central New York to use his education to give back to his community, beginning the arduous process of building the first major enterprises on Oneida homelands. With Halbritter at the helm, the Oneida Indian Nation became the first American Indian government in 1979 to offer gaming operations on sovereign land. One of many prescient moves that positioned the Oneida people to build what would become a world-class entertainment and gaming facility in the heart of the Northeast. In the early years of the resurgence, Halbritter's vision of major enterprises was at first derided by local media as unrealistic, but through diligence, hard work, persistence, and collaboration, he helped transform an empty cornfield into sustainable enterprises that have become an engine of jobs, shared prosperity, and cultural resurgence for the Oneida people. In the process, he has forged historic pacts with the federal government to recognize the Oneidas for the first time in a century and put more land under Oneida control than at any point since 1824. He has also forged historic agreements with the governors of New York and county leaders to end age-old disputes and make sure that Oneida enterprises are working to guarantee prosperity both for today's community and for future generations to come. Through it all, he has instilled in the Oneidas business enterprises a sense of cultural investment, making sure that revenues are invested in healthcare, in schools, and services for Oneida members, as well as in institutions that will help protect the Oneida's heritage. These include endowing a Harvard professorship in American Indian law, supporting the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of the American Indian, and becoming a founding donor to the Museum of the American Revolution. It also includes investing in the work of protecting Native Americans' political rights through support for the National Congress of American Indians and launching the Change the Mascot campaign that successfully fought to change the name of Washington, D.C.'s NFL franchise. As a business and cultural leader, Halbritter has continued to give back to his community with the same enthusiasm that he brought to his people when he first began working to build Turning Stone. He has served as chairman of the Turning Stone Resort Championship and the Upstate New York Empowerment Fund, which raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for dozens of Central New York charities and civic groups over the history of the golf tournament. He is the former publisher of the award-winning Indian Country Today Media Network. He serves as the chair of an executive board of the Environmental Media Association and is a member of the board of directors of the International Native American Center for the Performing and Visual Arts, Harvard Native American Law Board, Montpelier Spring Water Company, Mohawk Valley Edge, the Huffman Sausage Company, and the Museum of the American Revolution. Halbritter is also a member of the Board of Trustees for the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures and a member of the Recording Academy, the National Advisory Council for the American Indian Program at Cornell University, the National Congress of American Indians, the United South and Eastern Tribes, and the Canadian Native Arts Foundation. If I could go on. Halbritter also serves as executive producer of Rumble, the Indians who rock the world. It is my sincerest honor and privilege to invite Ray Halbritter, representative of the Oneida Indian Nation and Chief Executive Officer of its enterprises, to the podium to give the welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. That's quite a list. Seguli, Skanagogo, Gayangwalodi, Niumgats. I bring you greetings from the Oneida Indian Nation, greetings of peace. Probably not unlike we did when this institution first began. And thank you for that kind introduction. This is an important day. It marks the continuing of a relationship that dates back hundreds of years, and we are honored to be here and participating in this convocation. Thank you to the college's leadership, faculty, and administration for helping to build upon this long-time partnership. You've done well with the gift the United People have given you for this land. And to President Stephen Tepper, congratulations on your recent appointment and welcome. We wish you all the best in the important role you've taken on. We would like to thank Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of Faculty Ngomi Manemo, Nation Goodall, and Faculty Fellow in Native and Indigenous Studies, Brianna Burke, for all you have done to strengthen the partnership between Hamilton College and the Oneida Indian Nation. To the students beginning your academic journeys, welcome to the homelands of the Oneida people. Offering visitors to our homelands the warmest hospitality is fundamental to our culture. It is why we welcomed settlers and stood beside them on some of the bloodiest battlefields of the Revolutionary War to become America's first allies at the founding of this country, the United States. The Oneida people and Hamilton College share a unique history that dates to this period. You will see it reflected on campus in Shenandoah House, a residence hall named for one of our great chiefs, one of our great leaders. Shenandoah was a great friend of Samuel Kirkland, the founder of what would become this great college. Chief Shenandoah was a hero of the War for Independence, wampum keeper of the Oneida Indian Nation, and the inaugurator of government-to-government agreements. These include the 1794 Treaty of Canandaigua, which recognized Oneida's sovereignty over our homelands. And in the same year, the Hamilton Oneida Academy was chartered to educate Oneidas and newcomers to our lands together. This shared history has united our communities ever since. Hamilton College and the region where it is located are very special places. They offer you a unique opportunity to discover what you hope to accomplish and hope you will be. It's a tremendous gift, and the best way to make the most of it is to leave these places even better than you found them. You can do this by taking full advantage of the community around you, work hard to be part of it, and help it thrive for all those who will follow in your footsteps. As a first step, we begin to encourage you to find your elders. In Oneida culture, our elders are cherished. They are the storytellers who hand down our history from one generation to the next. So look for your own elders within this community, faculty members, leaders, mentors, and more. Listen to their stories and carry their wisdom with you. Share it with incoming students and encourage them to build their own relationships in this way. Additionally, never underestimate what you can learn from your peers. Your cohort includes people from around the world. They bring rich histories and culture, unique perspectives, and ways of thinking that may be wildly different than your own. Be open to such new ideas. Make space for them in your life and the community around you. You will leave one another in this college better than you met through this exchange. There is a Native American proverb that says, "We are known forever by the tracks that we leave." Over the next 4 years, you will understand the truth of this. Everything you have done to make the community around you better, the work you do, and the relationships that you forge will form a legacy that will not be forgotten. While your journey is just beginning, one day you will welcome new students to their first convocation. Everything you have done to leave a better community will inspire them to do the same. In this way, you will leave behind unforgettable tracks that will profoundly shape the future and an impact that will be felt for future generations. Our people are taught to make decisions considering its effect onto the seventh generation to the future. Thank you once again to the Hamilton community for making us part of today's convocation. To commemorate this historic day, we would like to present to President Temper one of our Oneida Indian Nation flags. And we are proud that it will represent our shared history and friendship during ceremonies like this for years to come.
Thank you, Representative Hilbritter. This is really an incredible gesture. We are so honored that you have joined us today, and it seems so fitting that for forever on that we will be able to display the Oneida Indian Nation flag at all of our major ceremonies and events, and it will always remind us of this special relationship between Oneida Chief Shenandoah and the Reverend Samuel Kirkland, and all the relationships that have happened since then and are still to come over the last 2 centuries and beyond. Our communities will forever remain linked, and we are grateful, and thank you so much.
Please join me in welcoming past Honor Court Chair Sophia Katz, class of 2025.
Hi everyone, my name is Sophia Katz. I'm a senior here at Hamilton College and a former Honor Court Chair. The current Honor Court Chair, Enzo Battaglia, could not be here today, but on behalf of him and the rest of the Honor Court, I would like to start by welcoming the class of 2028 to Hamilton College. We are all so excited to have you join this incredible community. I enjoyed speaking to all of you earlier this week about our honor code and how important it is to our learning environment here at Hamilton. I hope that you will all keep the idea of academic integrity at the forefront of your mind during your time here and beyond. For those of you who are particularly interested, applications to join the court do go out later this semester. But if you never interact with the Hamilton College Honor Court again, I hope that you will at least come to experience and recognize the benefits that the Honor Code offers us all on a day-to-day basis here at Hamilton. I now ask all of the freshmen to sign your Honor Code pledges that you were given as you walked into the auditorium today. Once you've signed them, please pass them to the person at the end of your row, and the current Honor Court members will come to collect the signed pledges once you are done. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to be here today. And class of 2028, I wish you the best of luck.
It's now my privilege to introduce the 21st president of Hamilton College, Stephen Tepper.
Thank you, Professor Trivedi, and welcome to everyone to the start of the 231st year of education on this beautiful hilltop here in Clinton, New York. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be part of this intentional community where we are all committed to, this is incredible. So, if anyone's phone goes off in class, I put it on speakerphone, so that's what we're going to do. That's the penalty. This is my wife, Dana. Dana, you're speaking to the entire freshman class. It's Convocation, and I didn't turn my ringer off, so say hello.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, well, that's a great way to begin, people. This intentional community is all committed to the power of the liberal arts as a way to transform lives. In a few moments, Dean Munemo is going to join me, and we will receive the honor court pledges that all of you have signed, the class of 2028, and all of our students joining us for the first time. And I hope that none of you copied the signature of the person sitting next to you. That would be against the spirit of the honor code. This tradition is really something we take so seriously, and it dates back to well more than a century, and it symbolizes the seriousness and the integrity of the work that we all do at this college. It represents a bond between you. It also represents a bond between you and all of the faculty and all of the professors. It's a sacred pledge, the meaning and the purpose of what we do here on this campus. The presidents of representatives from the Oneida Indian Nation and this more than 100-year-old tradition, this links us to the generations who have preceded us, to those who have created and who have preserved and safeguarded this special institution. And later in today's ceremony, we'll resume another important tradition for us, which is the awarding of prizes for student achievements and accomplishment, once again symbolizing the values that we share as individuals and as a community. So as a culture, we all focus on success, and all of you are here because you have achieved extraordinary successes so far in your life. You have preserved in your schoolwork, in your extracurricular activities, in your creative work. But when we are engaged in advancing ideas, when we are challenging ourselves to grow, we also need to welcome failure alongside success. Yes, failure. It is okay not to have the right answer. In fact, in meeting one of you in the Kirkland Cottage just 2 days ago, I'm sorry I didn't get all the names, so if it's you, just scream. You know who I'm talking about. I asked you for 3 adjectives that describe how you're feeling. This student said excited, overwhelmed, and then he couldn't come up with a third. So he asked the students behind him for an adjective for how he felt, and they shouted back, excited. So taking the recommendation, he offered me excited, and I promptly reminded him that was already one of the 2 words that he had offered initially. Or the day before, I was talking to a group of students outside of Commons, and one student, Mello, is from Wyoming. So I asked the rest of the group, how many people do you think live in Wyoming? What do you think the population is? And before I could almost even finish the question, one student said 4,000 people. And then someone else said 10,000. And it is almost 600,000 people living in Wyoming. But I love the fact, the reason I'm telling you this is not to shame those that said 4 or 10, but to say I love that you offered your first thoughts that this is a place where we are absolutely comfortable being wrong. And so I invite you to welcome me to any future trivia night if you want more proof of my full-hearted embrace of failure. So several years ago, when I dropped my son Sam off at college, and at the time he chose a college that was about 2,000 miles on the opposite coast from where I lived, and I'm still trying to not take that decision personally to get as far away from me as he could, but I remember dropping him off, and I was so acutely aware that he was both thrilled and excited and amazed, and he was terrified and uncertain and overwhelmed. Just in case anyone's collecting, I just gave you 4 more adjectives that are different. And when you enter a new space, whether that is school or work or a new community or a new city, our brains and our hearts begin this dance. So your brain's trying to figure everything out. What are the new rules? What are the roles that people play? How are things organized? Where's my first class? Right? The brain is seeking order. But what about the heart? What is the heart doing? The heart is looking for belonging and for affection and for recognition. And that's the dance that's happening right now inside all of you. And I think what most terrified Sam was just not knowing yet who to trust and whether people would give him the benefit of the doubt. Could he fail? Could he make mistakes, whether those were social mistakes or academic mistakes or just finding the right building mistakes? Could he do that without feeling stupid, without feeling out of place? Could he ask for help? And then I listened to a podcast, This American Life, and it revealed to me an important insight. And I'm going to ask you to bear with me about this story of a young woman who worked at a fitness club, a very boring job. She checked people in before fitness class, and then she had 45 minutes to kill. And so she went out to get a cup of coffee, and she saw on a telephone pole a poster of a found cat. So she got back to her desk, and she had a silly idea. She created her own poster of a found cat, and it said, described as male, brown, and not housebroken. And then she decided to put the image of a really ugly, hissing possum on the poster. And she thought she would just put this up around town, but it got on Instagram. She put her actual phone number for people to call, and here's what happened. Hundreds and hundreds of people called her. And here's the thing. 95% of those calls, they left messages for her wanting to help her. That is not a cat. It's a possum. You should release it. Do not try to house train it. Take it to the Humane Society. Please be careful. A few people did call to tell her she was an idiot for thinking a possum was a cat, but only a few. And the point is that the world is filled with good people who want to help you, even when you post a picture of a possum saying it's a cat. So everyone around you is both excited and terrified. That dance is happening for all of you right now. It's happening for me. I'm in the same shoes as all of you. Don't worry about acting cool or performing or pretending that you know what's going on. The world is made up of good people, especially at this campus. We are expert at bringing together good people. And these people are not only here to be kind, and as I point to all these elders who are dressed in silly hats and robes, they are all here for your success, So we're here for you. And struggling and sometimes failing, these are signs of trying, which means you're taking risks, and you're not going to grow unless you get beyond your comfort zone. And I encourage you to share these struggles with your teachers, right? Professor Trivedi, I tried something. With this assignment, I struggled. I don't think it turned out as expected, and this is what I learned. What do you think I could have done differently? Like, that should be a conversation you have more than one time with your faculty. I just want to liberate you right now from the pressure to be perfect. And I know that pressure helped many of you get in here, but we don't want you to try to be perfect. This is not a reality TV show. No one is going to get kicked off the island here for not being perfect. You are here because you deserve to be here and because you're willing to ask questions and to acknowledge that you don't know everything and that you have much in the world to learn, and you will make many mistakes and you will learn from them, and we will celebrate them together. So go, stay open, don't get overwhelmed, ask for help, and remember this is your time. And to sort of remind you what Representative Hilbritter just said, this is a place where you can add your ideas and your design. You can make this a different place, a better place. You will have an impact. You might not know exactly how right this second as you're sitting together on this day before first day of classes. I have no doubt that you will lift up our politics, you will design better places to live, you will build more equitable communities, you will save our planet, you will improve our health. I have no doubt about it. And you didn't get here on your own. This college did not come here on its own. And as we begin this year full of hope and promise and certainly some uncertainty, let us remember all those who prepared us for this moment, our families, our teachers, our friends, and in the great tradition of this college, our Oneida neighbors and the residents of Clinton. You have inherited this college from so many generations who have walked these paths before you. Take that in. Feel the weight and the promise of that. Add your voice, add your design, add your creativity, make Hamilton a better place. You will change us with your ideas, with your questions, with your cultures, with all of your identities, and I cannot wait to embark on this educational journey with all of you. It will be extraordinary. So now I'd like to ask Dean Munemo to join me at the podium as I call upon Honor Court Representative Sophia Katz to return to stage.
On behalf of the class of 2028, I now present the signed Honor Code pledges.
Thank you, Sophia. On behalf of the Hamilton faculty, I am pleased to accept these signed honor cards from you. This declaration that, by your honor, you will abstain from dishonesty in all your academic work stands as a cornerstone of the community of learning and critical engagement we all hold so dear here at Hamilton, and which you formally entered today. This pledge is rightly made publicly to your faculty in front of your peers, because together we shall support each other, learn from each other, and, if need be, hold each other accountable for the standards we expect each of us to live by while on the Hill. And by your participation in this rite, on behalf of the faculty, I'm honored to welcome you into the community of trust, responsibility, and academic integrity that will be the hallmark of your time at Hamilton. I trust you recognize that the promise you have made by signing these pieces of paper is a pledge to complete honestly the task you will carry out many, many times over the next 4 years. That is, each day for the next 4 years, your faculty and peers will expect you to live up to and reaffirm your integrity in your academic work and actions. I'm hopeful that by each of these actions, you will make real the cherished values of honesty, trust, inclusiveness, courage, and mindfulness around which any community of learning must be built. As you may have gathered from my welcome remarks to you and your families last week, free expression, academic freedom, civil discussion, and disagreement have been on my mind of late. I have been preoccupied by what feels like a deeper, more serious threat to higher education in general, and the liberal arts project in particular. Students' fear to speak and engage. I'm listening to President Tepper. I don't think you have that fear. A recent Chronicle of Higher Ed publication cites a Knight Foundation Ipsos survey, College Student Views on Free Expression and Campus Speech, which finds that 65% of undergraduates feel that campus climate prevents some people from expressing their beliefs because peers might find it offensive. How did we come to this? As you will come to do in your years here, I turn to scholars to try and answer this question. Ian Buruma, professor of journalism and human rights at Bard College, characterizes our current predicament as emanating from the development of multiple camps on campuses that have become cloistered in their own affinity groups, and each group's political views have become articles of faith, something fundamental to their personal identity rather than something to which they ascribe. For Buruma, one source of the problem is that we've lost sight of the fact that holding an intellectual position is not the same as having a belief. Instead, too many ideological positions have become a matter of faith, to be defended against heretics instead of discussed. The result is a chilling impact on campus climate. For Ilana Redstone, a professor of sociology at the University of Illinois, it's not just about our equating ideological positions for beliefs. It is also that as individuals, we quite regularly fall into what she calls the certainty trap, in which we believe we are so absolutely right and that our opponents are so entirely wrong. According to Professor Redstone, the certainty trap drives in us a sense of righteous indignation. This puts the possibility of engaging others who think differently at great risk. My charge to you all is to leave room for doubt in the positions you hold. I hope you won't fall into Redstone's certainty trap. I hope you hold fast to your beliefs, but remain open to conversation about your intellectual and ideological positions. Of course, the notion of the importance of doubt as a core feature that should inform individual and group interaction is not new. One of the key figures in the articulation of liberalism, John Stuart Mill, stressed as far back as the 19th century how, as human beings, we are not creatures capable of infallible knowledge. For Mill, the fact that we are fallible means that none of us has an a priori insight into truth, and that all of our beliefs must therefore remain open to revision in light of further observation. Discussion must always remain open. This is a tall order. It is exhausting. It may even be frustrating, having to re-adjudicate topics we believe had already been closed. Mill cautioned against what would happen if we strayed from this openness, writing, "However unwilling a person who has a strong opinion may admit the possibility that their opinion may be false, they ought to be moved by the consideration that, however true it may be, if it is not fully, frequently, and fiercely discussed, it will be held as a dead dogma, not a living truth." But I turn to John Stuart Mill to make another point, as I welcome you into this community of exchange and inquiry, that we can learn from the past and from the works of those whose biographies are at odds with ours and with our beliefs. I was born in a country today known as Zimbabwe. By the time of my birth, it was Rhodesia, a British colony. John Stuart Mill was born in 1806. He was an English philosopher, political economist, civil servant, and politician. Mill was also an administrator for the British East India Company, the entity which spearheaded British colonization of the Indian subcontinent. And in his writings, Mill restricted liberty to civilized peoples, arguing that races in their nonage, people like me and those in India, needed the tutelage of English civilization. For Mill, colonial stewardship was the necessary form of benevolent despotism for delivering this instruction. I read Mill for the first time at 15. Don't ask me what was going on at 15. At that age, when I was just waking up into my own social and political awareness, I just couldn't abide Mill's biography and his writings on colonialism. So I did what I thought any self-respecting, righteously correct teenager should do. I swore not to waste my time reading Mill again. While it was nowhere near the scale of the recent new college book dumping, this private book dumping felt good, standing up for something that I believed. From where I stood, I certainly didn't need another long-dead white guy telling me that my ancestors, and by extension, I, belong to races in their nonage. There were plenty of not dead people doing that already. But within a couple of years, as my interest in politics grew, and as I sought to better understand political developments in the advanced industrialized countries and European colonial expansion and how it was justified, many of the paths I traversed inevitably passed through Mill. It seemed I just couldn't escape the writings of this fella. So, feeling somewhat defeated, I returned to Mill. But in reading Mill helped me better understand the structure, aspirations, and limitations of Western liberal democracy. Reading and rereading Mill, even Mill on colonialism, also helped me come to appreciate that understanding a viewpoint different from mine does not mean I endorse it or support it. What it did was prepare me to engage in informed exchange rather than continuing with interactions from a place of righteous indignation. And rather than being damaged by Mill, I actually came to better understand the intellectual origins of most of the liberal justifications of colonialism. As I accept these cards from you today, and with that, welcome you into this cherished community of scholarship, of the interrogation and exchange of ideas, I hope that you don't confuse your ideological positions for belief. I hope you carry with you into each and every conversation a healthy dose of doubt about the correctness of your views or opinions. And I hope you don't put writers and thinkers on your don't read list just because you find their bios objectionable. Read them, think about how what they say informs and adds to your viewpoint, and then toss them aside if they deserve tossing aside. I still think Mill and colonialism is about some of the craziest stuff I've ever read. You enter into your Hamilton College education so that you may know yourself, so that you might prepare yourselves for lives of meaning, purpose, and active citizenship. Could there be a better path to knowing yourself that does not begin with a care for each other, respectfully questioning each other, and learning from each other, all the while holding one another to the highest standards of mutual trust? Thank you, and welcome to the start of Hamilton's academic year. On behalf of President Tepper, and I invite Chris Card, Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students, to the podium.
Thank you, Dean Monemo. Hello and welcome, my friends. Welcome to this dynamic place filled with staff, faculty, students, all of us who combine our passions and our energy to make a difference here at Hamilton and in the larger world. Welcome to a community where you join other scholars who are ready to engage you, befriend you, teach you, and especially as well to learn from you. These words, hello and welcome, seem fairly simple, but as you settle into this place where we live, work, and play together, and learn together too, you will hear them often. In conversations over the last few days, I've heard from many of you first years and new students just about how welcoming this place feels already, and how engaging the folks are around you. That is a good thing, and I hope it's a feeling that will be sustained throughout your time here at Hamilton. And it's important to say hello because on one hand, it's that intentional act of inviting somebody else into your space and into your life. Do it often, do it earnestly, and do it intentionally. Saying hello and engaging others is important for our collective sense of community and for the individual's sense of belonging. I do hope that you will be welcomed time and time and time again, long after you're new students, that you will still feel a sustained welcome. We are a community that hopes to welcome and to educate the whole person. So there is an invitation here to bring your whole selves to the conversations, discussions, relationships that will emerge during your time here at Hamilton. And just as you are welcomed fully and wholly, I hope you will also extend a whole welcome to everyone you meet. Welcome people and ideas that are different from what you've experienced before. Welcome ideas that are challenging. Welcome respectful disagreement and civil discourse. Welcome those who may be as curious about you as you are about them. Welcome those who just want to know what you believe and why. Welcome the whole person. Communities like ours are always at their best when we engage each other in mutual respect in our attempts to form meaningful relationships. We will fail the educational process when we draw conclusions just from fair stereotypes or a refusal to engage. You've heard a current theme of engagement from President Tepper, from Dean Monemo. It is critical to your success. Welcome and engage each other. Our learning requires intentional engagement, and it begins very often by simply saying hello. I want to encourage you as well to begin this new academic year with a spirit of gratitude. Gratitude to all who have made it possible for us to be here, for you and for me. That may be our families, however we define our families, our professors and teachers, our mentors, our admission staff, or the donors who help fund this mission and support your presence here at Hamilton. Let us begin this year being grateful to those who have led us here and who will sustain us while you are here. And so I hope you'll find this community to be a place where you feel like you belong and you feel supported. I mentioned earlier today that I will never promise you that this journey will be an easy one. Frankly, no one should ever promise you that. But I do want to promise you that if, or more likely when, things get challenging or difficult, that you will find many of us ready to stand by and help. My colleagues in student life, alongside our distinguished faculty and other staff, will be present. We will help to see you through. And with that in mind, I'm going to beg your indulgence, and I'm going to ask our faculty, our staff in the audience, our returning students, our friends from the Oneida Nation, to stand if you're able and face our new students and our transfer students. You might. If it's possible to get the house lights to go up a bit too, I'd appreciate that. So, new students and transfers. When we met a few days ago, there's a particular phrase I used over in the Bundy Field House. Do you remember what that was? About what we were doing? What was that? Waiting. I said we had been waiting for you, right? So just in these few minutes, look around this room. Look in front of you. Look to the left and to the right of you. Look even above you. These are only some of the people who will be here to support and assist you, who will be your primary cheerleaders over the next 4 years. Some of your supporters aren't here now, but you will come to know them and realize who they are in the next few days. Think of the other 1,500 or so returning students who are on their way back to campus right now to join you in classes for tomorrow. Think of our dedicated board of trustees, leaders who give generously of their time and talent to lead this institution. Think of over 24,000 alums who are ready and willing to build connections with you over your time here. Think of our neighbors in the village of Clinton. Think of our brothers and sisters in the Oneida Nation on whose land we dwell. Look around you and take this all in for a minute. These are the folks who have been waiting for you, who have been waiting to see your energies, to feel your energies, to engage your passions. Know, my friends, that these are the angels who will grant you safe passage through your time here. Engage them. We have all been waiting to engage you. So welcome, and welcome fully. Welcome to Hamilton. Welcome to Hamilton College. Thank you. It's now my pleasure to invite Professor Penny Lee, Associate Dean of the Faculty, to acknowledge our prize recipients.
It is part of our Convocation tradition to award a number of scholarships and prizes, the descriptions of which are in your program. I will announce the award winners by prize category as listed in the program. If you're the winner of an award, please stand and remain standing until the next award is announced. I ask that the audience please hold your applause until the end of each prize category. I'll begin by recognizing the recipients of the prize scholarships category. The Benjamin Walworth Arnold Prize, Pan Pav, Annabelle Pearson, Lucy Miola, and Claire Williams. The Robert A. Banker Jr. Prize Scholarship, Rebecca Felker. The Captain Gerald Fitzgerald Dale Senior Scholarship, Anna Seacrest. The Charles A. Dana Prize Scholarship, Choithi Bishesh, Sarah Conti, Devin DeVries, Isaiah Franco, Carter Higgins, Paulina Igumnova, Luke Curzon, Kazi Noir, Marcella Rondon, and Angel Sonye. The Dual German Prize Scholarship, Maximilian Wolfeld. The Donald Hamilton Prize Scholarship, Evel Eneman Amoke. The Anne Miller Hardin Prize Scholarship, Sofia Isabella Gonzalez Alvarado. The Matthew Houlihan Prize Scholarship, Riley McGovern. The Edward Huntington Memorial Mathematical Prize Scholarship, Frank Chen and Max Clivens. The Grant 21 and Silas 52 Keene Prize Scholarship, Choithy Bishesh and Carter Higgins. The Willard Bostwick Marsh Prize Scholarship, Deanna Durbin and Rachel Zoe. The Marcel Murad Memorial Prize Scholarship, Lena Klink and Catherine Wetmore. The Orrin Root Prize Scholarship, Andre Friedman and Thomas Takis. The Arthur W. Soper Prize Scholarship in Latin, Tate Bergen. The Chauncey S. Truex Prize Scholarship in Greek, Angela Escalante Zarco. The Vrooman Prize Scholarship, Mia Francimone. The Lawrence Yorty Prize Scholarship, Ignacio Tran. So please congratulate all of our Prize Scholarship winners. So now we'll recognize the winners of achievement prizes. If you hold your applause till the end, we'll get to dinner sooner. Okay. The Brockway Prize, Annabelle Pearson and Pan Pov. The Class of 1990 Scholarship, Choithy Bishesh. The CRC First Year Prize in Chemistry, Bailey Leon Levine, Robert Nicholson, and Walter Sherry. The Dr. Edward Fitch Prize in Latin, Valerie de los Reyes. The Dr. Edward Fitch Prize in Greek, James Mannix. The Leo Makta Prize in Physics, Mohammed Khan. The Phi Beta Kappa Book Prize, Jack Bile, Samantha Flaherty, Nana Hayorumian, Man Sung Hong, Patricia McNerney, Christina Monroe, Annabelle Pearson, Pan Pov, Emma Wilson, and Sylvia Woodbury. The Rusty Smith Memorial Teaching Prize in Computer Science, Iris Isidorchek. The Linda Aquastrobel Memorial Teaching Prize in Mathematics, Irina Chen and Ali Ennis. The Winslow Prize in Greek, Zoe Clark. The Winslow Prize in Latin, Madeleine Cloutier. The Winslow Prize in Romance Languages, Hispanic Studies, Ivy Hammer-Gumbrell and Isabella Lindsay. The Winslow Prize in Romance Languages, French, Jianyi Wang. Please congratulate our Achievement Prize winners. Now let us acknowledge our Writing Prize recipients. The Hutton Essay Prize, Tessa Hartzell. The Dwight N. Lindsay Prize, Jackson Smith. The Alfred J. and A. Barrett Seaman Prizes in Writing, Emma Dower, Senna Camp, Gabrielle Bryn, Lucy Meola, and Ben Zimmerman. Please congratulate our Writing Prize winners. And once again, let's congratulate all of this year's winners.
Please rise if you are able for the Hamilton College Choir, which will sing Carissima, the words to which appear in your program. remain in place until after the procession has left the auditorium. Everyone is invited to the Convocation picnic on the Dunham Green. This marks the end of this occasion and the beginning of Hamilton College's 213th year. This assembly is adjourned.